Folks, we are back. Wade, Sensei, the Breakdown Boys.
Oos, we here. We out here.
So, Sensei.
Talk to me.
Topic of conversation, some people are calling it controversial. I don't think it is. Has arisen after... Has arisen. Like your hairline. After...
A controversy has arisen.
There you go. Oh, fire.
Come on now.
After Misfits number 6 and Kingpin's first round of the tournament, there has been a lot of online chatter about what influencer boxing actually is, because we've seen so many events to this point, right? We've seen, I would say, a bit of a saturation in the influencer boxing scene. I think that's fair to say, because we have so many people now in this scene, some who aren't really influencers, which is why we've retermed it crossover. But
right,
I think we're starting to, at least in some way, potentially lose the plot of what it is that we do here. And I'm just going to let you read and listen to some things that were said here, if I can find it really quickly. But just quick thoughts on kind of the gist of the conversation here. Do you think influencer boxing has lost its way a bit?
To an extent, yes. I think it's just because the boxing part has become a lot more serious than it was in the past. And in that result, you have people making a lot more sacrifices, lifestyle changes. You know, the mentality of someone who's going through training and progressing as a fighter. These people are going through a very grueling process.
Yeah.
And a lot of them changing personally, right?
That's a big thing no one's talking about.
A lot of that. A big thing is that these, as we grow older, we change inevitably anyways. So when you go through something serious, it could be tragic, it could be positive. You have a kid, family, you got a girlfriend now, whatever, right? It could be something like that. But now you're becoming a boxer, bro. That's not like a little thing.
Right.
It could be. It's not like I'm gonna try this now.
Right.
I'm gonna try this new hobby. Like, bro, it's life changing. It's humbling. You're becoming an athlete now.
Yep.
You're dealing with different kind of stress now. You have a fight. That you're dealing with. So, of course, the other side of it is that some people are losing their creativity.
Yeah.
They're losing their creative process.
Yeah.
Right. And that's everybody. You look at it, people like Jake from the top, not just,
From the top, make it drop.
Make it drop. Right, though? Think about it,
No, but you're right. That's the whole point of this thing. And I found the tweet. KSI actually said something about it. He said, announcement to all influencer boxers. Don't forget to still be entertainers. Don't forget to still make content. Don't just turn into a boring person that boxes. And then, funny enough, Chris Avila, who won his fight on Saturday and then won a couple more in the streets of New Orleans, said, rich kid talking, shut up, don't fight.
And that's just a fighter, bro.
That's just a fighter, though. And he gets it. That's the polar opposites of and honestly, it is the quintessential, I don't know, it's just like manifestation of what we're talking about. An actual fighter and an influencer boxer having two completely different opinions on what it is, what it means, and what the two differences in the sport is, right? An influencer boxer, now Chris actually boxing. So I think that you're right in a couple of ways. Go ahead. People, stop the video for just a second. Actually, keep playing the video because this is embedded in the video. But we're taking a quick break to let you know that today's video is sponsored by Manscaped. Sensei, as you know, it's tax season here in the U.S.
Yes.
And your reaction to it is not most people's because this is a stressful time of year.
This is like my favorite time of the season.
Yeah, you balling right now. But Manscaped is here to make sure you get that paperwork done and your boys downstairs are having fun. So make sure the money you spend or get in your tax return is spent taking care of your family, your friends, and Sensei, your ball deodorant, using code TBD for 20% off at manscaped.com plus free shipping. Sensei, tell them what they can get to take care of the boys.
Listen, they got some stuff to take care of your crops, okay?
You say crotch?
No, crops.
Oh, crops.
Right?
I got it.
Crop preserver and the reviver. Look at that, right?
Bang.
Look.
Oh, my Lord. My man's out here letting it fly.
Look at the spread on that one, huh?
Hey, yo. Listen.
Then you got this thing right here. This is the,
I use a little too much, but all right.
There we go. That's the preserver. After you revive it.
Yep. Okay.
Preserve it. You know what I mean? Cut so I can go use it.
Man has got a new tagline. But also, Sensei, you're not just getting those two while you're rubbing one out over there. You're getting... You are getting the Performance Package 4.0, including the Lawnmower 4.0 coming in hot. You understand? That's the way I do it. You go right underneath and then you come back.
Oh, wow.
But also, just like a lawnmower, but also
dangerous guy over there.
You're getting the Weed Whacker 2.0. You are getting the Beard Hedger Pro. Everything and more at 20% off when you use code TBD and free shipping. All these products, guys, are going to help you boys downstairs stand out and feel great without all the nicks, cuts, and potentially chafing that comes with it. So, Sensei, we're taking care of our finances this year, but also we want to make sure that people take care of themselves. Thanks to Manscaped for sponsoring this video. Now, let's get back into it.
I'll say it's really tough for... It's a lot tougher for people who are new, not new, but up-and-coming influencers. Like influencers that aren't huge, that are like... we're being introduced to them and they're new names, but they're influencers and then they're also fighters. Reason is when JJ came to YouTube boxing, right? He was already a big name,
right?
And he was by the way, he was coming off of a huge hiatus, from content.
Yeah,
this man went dark. His profile picture was like a black freaking picture for like 2 years or something like that.
Black square or black circle.
Yeah, like and he was off socials, and then he came back. Right out of nowhere, the music thing, and he's been able to pivot, right? And he's been able to do that because when he came into influencer boxing, he was already a huge name.
Yep.
Look at Jake and Logan. They were already solidified superstars who decided to then box. And of course, we watch their boxing content, and they have the luxury of being able to pivot, and then their fan base just being like, "Oh, cool, whatever."
That's what we're doing now.
Down.
Sick, yeah.
Right. Whereas influencers that maybe aren't like huge influencers still have to maintain maybe that core content, right? Whatever they've been doing for their fan base, they have to maintain that because people aren't really sure are they for the boxing thing yet. They don't really, you know what I mean? So that part of it is very difficult and tricky for influencers who aren't moguls in the game.
Facts.
So like look at Jake. Jake is he's not a YouTuber anymore.
Logan as well.
Right. They pivoted the podcast, and Jake is doing the MVP promotions. He's like in the fight game, and they can find other ventures to do, whether it be like other sponsorships and brands,
I see. The thing with Jake is tough because Jake has found a way to monetize what he does and have that extra thing, right? He's sellable without being a content creator in every sense of the word, I guess. But
right.
Jake's also a unicorn when it comes to that because, like you said, he already had a built-in following. But his built-in following will watch his fights, but he's also now, without being an influencer per se, used that to draw another following, and that is the pro MMA circuit. That is a bit of the pro boxing scene now from the Tommy Fury fight. So he's done a better job of diversifying where his influence is, where he may not be the influencer on YouTube anymore. He's influencing a lot of people to watch his fights in the MMA scene, in the boxing scene, and that's because of his big name.
And Jake has become a celebrity almost. In terms of what I mean by that as a celebrity is that, like, you look at actors and actresses, right? You aren't following them for their content they're producing.
You're not
on
watching
their socials.
Yeah.
But they're uber famous, so if they tweet something or say something funny or do something, and if they decide to do something massive like a big movie, you're going to be there to watch it.
You
right?
care.
So Jake,
you care.
Right. So Jake is in that situation now where no one, like Gideon said it, he's like, are there any even Jake Paul fans out there? Right. Which means like there isn't like this super diehard fan base that like JJ has, which is like super core fan base that people
hardcore.
Like. Right. Where Jake now is, if he tweets something or if he talks about something because of his name and the hate he's developed from the MMA community or whatever, right?
The attention. That's the word.
He has the attention as a celebrity now, so people want to see him fight, very much like fighters do.
Yeah.
When they reach the top,
yeah,
they don't really need to produce a lot. People want to see him fight.
Yeah.
So and again, these is the 1% of 1%, and they've been able to pivot. So it's a very
well, let's talk about this.
Tricky game because it's new, bro. It's all this is so new and unprecedented.
Why is a guy like JJ better at it and continuing to be consistent with content, and he does the Sideman? And is it just because JJ's a different beast? Is that genuinely what it is?
Yeah. I think JJ, I mean,
because he's doing a ton of content while also training. And he has a budget, right? He has an editor.
Right.
He has people that do that, but so do other guys. Like, it's not like some of these guys are, and granted, I'm not going to sit here and try to pocket watch people, but most of these guys aren't hurting for money. Granted, the stuff that they're doing is for money.
Right.
Boxing is for big paychecks. But still, if you wanted to do those things, in my opinion, some of the guys, maybe not like the newer, Misfit 6 card particularly, but some of the guys can still do that. And I'm not going to name names because I don't want to seem like I'm pointing the finger at whoever, but if you are one of those guys that has just become a boxer and that is all that you do, the reason that people aren't watching, or maybe you're not selling as many tickets as a guy like JJ or Jake, is because you don't make those people care.
Right, you don't have that fan base anymore.
Or the fan base that you had doesn't care that you're boxing.
Right.
Because you don't give them a reason to. The reason that they cared about your YouTube videos is because you gave them a reason. You gave them more content. You gave them consistency. The consistency you're now giving them is away from what they know.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is, like, JJ, for example, he was already at a point that they'll care about anything that he does.
Yeah.
So he doesn't need to give them a reason to care because they already do. Like, he can do a Reddit video. He doesn't need a creator process. Like, the Reddit video will work. He's on Simon videos.
You're watching JJ, right?
He can do what's the other one that
My
he does?
question for you, though.
The try not to laugh video, right?
Had JJ stopped all content completely since he decided to come back to boxing, and the only time you saw him was boxing, would he still have that appeal?
No, not at all.
So I'm saying.
Yeah.
So regardless if you're just watching JJ's content for JJ, and I get what you mean, he's got a built-in audience, so he can just do whatever. Some of these guys are maybe afraid that if they put content on their channel that isn't necessarily what they used to do, are the people going to care? Correct. But you can still be creative.
If they care, there's a difference between, and you know this, there's a difference between someone who cares about the content you create and just cares about you creating content. And most guys, most people do care about the content more so than the person.
Yep. 100%.
Very few. We're talking people on your freaking palm of your hand can do whatever the hell they want, and people will be there, right? Very, very few. Everyone else has to do what they always did.
Right.
And if they pivot, people won't really mess with it, right?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know.
It's tricky. It's tricky.
Do you know, like, okay, do you have to even pivot, though? When you quote-unquote promote, I think JJ, the Reddit thing he's worked out great for him, but he doesn't really even talk necessarily about his fights all the time, right, for his content. Like, granted, he will address it if it pops up in his Reddit, which is a good segue for him to be able to address it, right? But there are things that he does on his videos that has nothing to do with fighting. And still he'll find a way to because he's got such a big audience, go, hey, by the way, fighting May 13th, blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah, I think it's less to do with, like, creating content about, like, with your audience.
It's not going to work for everyone.
I think it's about just creating content about your fight.
Yeah.
Because they're not even doing that.
Exactly.
And I'm like, okay, if you're not going to create content yourself about, like, your old content, like the thing you used to do, whatever, cool. But at least, like,
do the thing
Jake
that
does
you're
that.
doing.
Jake will make content around his fights.
You know why? And you know why people mess with
content.
it? And he may not get the millions of views and the crazy numbers he used to pull, but you know why people, his core mess with it? It's because it's what he's doing. It's what he cares about.
Right.
And they see how authentic that is, right?
Yeah.
That's why I don't get, like, again, I'm not naming names, but some of the guys just completely go 0 dark 30, and I understand how much of a dedication this is. And I know just from being around you when you were going through it for your fight, how much of a dedication it was. Thank God that, we got a team that helps out with all that. But
Yeah.
It just guys wonder why some guys are getting offered some numbers and other guys aren't, or guys wonder why these stadiums aren't being sold out and these big numbers that a guy like JJ pulls or somebody else isn't happening for them. That is why.
Yeah, there's got to be. It's one of two things. Like with Whindersson, you got to either bring your country with you,
Facts,
or your fan base, or there's got to be one and two the same.
Yeah,
and you have to promote, even like fighters, not even influencers. They have to promote content around their fight. Like that's supposed to sell.
We've been saying this for years.
The influencers are supposed to already be able to do that, so you can bring that content to your fan base. So again, I completely agree with JJ. Fighters, especially if they want to be big names and they want to be influencer boxers, I think it's important that they promote their fight at least, bro. Like a lot of these fighters don't even promote their fights, dude. That's crazy.
He had the tweet, but he also said this. Let's take a listen to what he said in his ice bath interview with Chris Ridgway on Misfits channel. I don't know what happened there, but let's take a listen.
The final one for me, you mentioned there about creating content.
Cold as balls in front of you.
Yeah. You tweeted about it the other day as well.
Yes.
How important it is.
It's extremely important, man.
Just go into that.
Well, I mean, these people need to realize, you guys are boxing influencers, man. Like, you're in this space to grow your own brand. Why are you just accepting money, not doing any promotion, win, lose the fight, and then you just do nothing with it?
We've talked about why that is. I think you've hit it nail on the head. We talked about it actually during Kingpin Fight Week. He asked, why are people accepting money and not doing promotion? Because they're given money to do it.
Right.
And you said, if you want guys to promote, you need to incentivize them.
100%.
Think about it. Think about at the core of what we're doing, why guys are switching on, taking everything else out of their life and focusing on this. They're getting paid a lot of money.
Right, of course.
That gets their attention.
And when you're on your own channel, you're incentivized to produce more content on your own channel to promote that. But let's say, like, if I'm a fighter and I get the same amount if this number of people watch or if this number of people watch,
what's the point?
Who am I working for now?
Exactly.
Of course, there's going to be a value that I can bring to myself, but that's going to be my own personal thing about me wanting to build my personal brand.
Yeah.
Right. But if you want people to promote the fight or promote the promotion or the event, incentivize it.
Facts.
Period. And again, I agree with JJ though. They should be personally incentivized to build their own brand. Yeah. And if you want to have bigger fights, like if you want to get paid higher, you should be doing that, because if you show that you're bringing in a certain amount of views to your fights, then obviously your asking price will go up. Yep. So that does go hand in hand. So I do agree with JJ, but I do understand the fighter's point of view too.
Yeah.
Every time, it's a huge event. It's a huge opportunity. Make the most of it. Don't just sit back and do nothing. Build your brand. Build it. Look at what Anthony Taylor's done. He's been able to fight all these people because he built his brand. So, same with Soul Pappy, with his TikToks and everything. Look at where Soul Pappy is. You think if Soul Pappy just won a fight?
I think Soul Pappy's a bit of a different animal, to be honest. Because
he doesn't even promote.
Doesn't really promote. He has his YouTube now and it pops off, but it's, again, his YouTube is tailored around his travels in the Philippines, his training camp, him reacting to his fights, him reacting to other fights. He's now built his own YouTube audience, which is different from his TikTok, right? Because he's doing the hand rubs and the fake runs on TikTok still.
Right.
His YouTube audience is different.
How's his channel doing? His YouTube?
He's balling, bro. He's balling. Look at this. Yeah. I mean, relatively. He was on Era Helwani last week. That's promoting as well. Let's talk about that. 517K, buddy.
Oh, he's killing it.
Granted, those are sub numbers, not view numbers, but still.
Yeah.
We got to work on the thumbnails a bit, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
we're pulling some numbers, Like, there's not many, to be honest with you.
He's doing a lot better than he was doing before.
He's doing a lot better than he's doing before. And outside of, we're very blessed here on the Breakdown and on my channel and on your channel to have a very nice core audience that really supports us and does stuff. But how many people outside of myself, us here on the Breakdown, KSI, Jake, Logan, Deji, maybe, how many people are consistently putting out videos and pulling even these numbers?
Yeah.
You know, Gibb maybe, but there's not many people, bro. Not many. So
yeah, no, it has to do with the promoting of the fight,
and he's consistent. He's consistent. This is good.
Salt Poppy is a different monster because people are so.
He's an enigma. Like his charisma.
People are so interested. They're so curious about who's this Salt Poppy guy.
Yeah,
and could he be the best? You know, and all these sound bites about Ryan Garcia calling him the best, and now he's on with Ariel, right?
Max.
So there's
Could
he beat KSI and Jake Paul?
Yeah, no, I agree. He's a little bit of a different animal, but KSI's message here I still agree with. Like,
yeah,
not even for like, I think he's trying to look at it as a promoter, as because he is. It's almost like MJ trying to tell someone how to make a jump shot. He's trying to tell them the things that come so naturally to him that it just boggles his mind. It's kind of the same way. I mean, granted, I'm not KSI, but I think of it the same way. I'm like, why would you not take advantage of this opportunity to put yourself in a higher esteem and really put yourself on a different level and get the attention and all of that? But what I also agree with is the fact that when he's saying all this, it's not a monetary thing. It's to build your brand. It is maybe even a shorter frame loss, you could say, or a shorter frame, I don't know, harder time or a little bit harder work to get that monetary and brand and continuous growth in the long term. Our fight weeks, just for example, not to insert ourselves in it because I'm not fighting, so I can't sit here and be like, oh, well, this is what I do when dudes are trying to cut weight and they got to go out and fucking fight. But those are the weeks, man. And you saw it when we were at Kingpin. That's the first time we've done it like together.
Yeah.
In fight week, of course. That's the first time we've had like a legitimate lockdown, 10 videos go out that week, sometimes 15.
Yep.
And you saw it. 2 a.m. Me and Christian still working on thumbnails. 3 a.m. we're thinking about, bro, we got to do this tomorrow, that tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So that's just our side of it. Granted, they're not going to be able to do that, but still, I just think that the message remains the same. Take advantage of every single second that you're in this different light because let's be honest here, and we'll kind of end the video off on this. YouTube boxing and influencer boxing is not going to be around forever. It's not.
Yeah.
As much as we love it and as much as we'll be here forever in some capacity, that's because we take advantage of these opportunities. And I think the guys that are in the ring, you guys have the biggest spotlight. What we do is just shine the spotlight on you. This is literally the job of the breakdown and Wade and Sensei. That right there, that's the job. And I'm blind now, but you get the idea. That is it.
That was just the sun hitting your skin. I think that's what was going on.
That was. I'm a vampire and almost burned to the crisp. That's what happened. But no, that is it. Our job is to make their job easier. Like we are promoting them, but imagine if you do that on top of it. Imagine if you get the content that we don't get. You know, the little stuff that we can't see, the little innuendos. Even in a loss, Tommy does this better than anybody. No offense to Tommy, but when he loses, he comes out with the video right away. And he's like, hey, it happened. Here we are.
Better luck next time. Back to the drawing board.
He's like, please, I'll be back. But it's good because you get to see him. You get to see his face. You get to see his reaction to the fight, you know? So my thoughts on it as we wrap up are this and say, I think that KSI's, the way he thinks about it, 110% right. The way you've put some thoughts in here, I do understand that guys are just trying to figure it out still. But at the end of the day, people, influencer boxers, if you're watching this, just take advantage of the opportunity now because it's not going to be here forever. And yes, money is great, 100%. We all love making money, but imagine the opportunity for growth in these moments because that money is finite. It's short term. You get it? It's there, cool. But the amount of growth and the brand building that you can do now will affect you years down the line if you're consistent and you keep going. Those are my thoughts. Sensei, let them know.
Yeah, you never know the power of one piece of content, right? That's one of the biggest things, like even for myself, you know, I was always been so hesitant about putting out certain types of content over the years. Should I do this? Should I do that? And every time I've done it, sometimes it's down the road that it helps, but you never know that on fight week is one little clip going to be picked up by this or that, right? And how does that help you? Let's say that combined with a big win takes you to the stratosphere, right? So even like, Salt Poppy, other fighters, the little clips of them saying certain things, you never know the power of a certain clip, especially in today's day and age. So getting your face out there more, being an influencer, and trying to just use the thing that got you there. Use the thing that got you to the dance, right? Use that to get you to bigger and better things.
There it is. Comment section. Let us know down below what's happening in influencer boxing, and if it keeps going this way, does influencer boxing continue to survive? And who's the one person that's going to step up and say, no, I'm not just going to go box. I'm going to make this moment last a lifetime. We don't have those answers, but guess we'll find
Hop in the car, watch it go vroom, vroom. I told her mom that I blow soon. Know as a child back in the womb.